Welcome to today's interview being presented by Wrestle Black Bart by Vinny Berry. Myself and the man called Dave will be interviewing the Natural 20, Drake Zavior. Drake, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourselves?
Good, man. Appreciate having you here. We just still before you came on, it's an honor to call your matches, for New Heights Wrestling. It's a good time, and to have you in studio, it's definitely good. Why don't we kick it off? Like everybody, we want to learn a little bit about the beginning. What is some of your earliest wrestling memories growing up? Like, when did you become a fan of this?
Truth be told, I didn't start getting into wrestling until I was 15, 16 years old. I had some friends from high school because I was on my high school wrestling team. And I had a friend on there who introduced me to some of his friends that did the backyard wrestling. I was like, that sounds like fun. I'll give it a try. Finally got my license. I started driving out there, and I just fell in love with it ever since then. Been a blast ever since then. Watching TNA back in the day, Styles and Kurt Angle when he was on there, all those classic matches.
Now, the next question was going to be, so obviously you got in the game late too. So what's going to be some of your favorites? Would it be Styles and Angle?
Styles, Angle, who else? Ricochet. I remember watching him a whole bunch. El Generico, aka Sami Zayn. I loved Low Key for a while there, and then the more I watch him, I just look back, I'm like, he is mean.
Yeah.
So mean.
I get that. Ironically, before this interview started today, there's this account on Instagram called Rick and Wrestling, and the guy posts these obscure matches with it. He posted Eddie Guerrero and Low Key today, and it was from a company, I want to say ICW. It was one of the few ones. It probably was because he had a lot of respect for Eddie, I'm guessing. But Loki did not look his typical me. There was a lot of technical wrestling going on back and forth. And I had just watched the one where he knocked somebody out. So I was like, oh, he must have respect. Eddie, he probably wasn't going to do that with Eddie. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's ironic. I'm actually watching a Styles and Jarrett TNA match right now. So it's funny that we're talking about this.
Right.
You got involved, like you said, at 16 years old. So, did you have a friend? Is that how you kind of got into the business then, or?
Yeah, I had like I said, I had a friend that he introduced me to another friend. We became co-workers and everything like that. Actually pulled money together, got ourselves a backyard wrestling ring. He actually helped train me in the beginning because he'd been watching it basically since he was born. He studied it, how many steps to do this, all that stuff. Honestly, he makes YouTube top 50 move sets of people if you go under Thunder Files on YouTube, and he's got a whole Discord channel for it. But unfortunately, he got injured. He's got really bad back problems now, so he can't wrestle, or else he would honestly be top of the world somewhere. He just had a freaking mind for it. It's unbelievable. Yeah, just me and a group of friends, we just started doing it, and I just never looked back, honestly.
Did you ended up was that your training, or have you? I mean, because you're very smooth. You have good footwork. Have you gone to other places since, or training? How did this rest of the training go?
So that was my first step in it. But when I became, I think it was 18. Yeah, I was 18. I started going to a small, more local wrestling called All Star Wrestling. It's owned by James Legend, I believe, and Eddie Torres and Shane Swift helped train me there. They don't remember because it was 12 years ago, something like that. I was going there for a few months, had an accident while I was doing another wrestling show, and it completely separated my left shoulder. So I was out of the game for 5 months at that point and never went back. And every time I wrestle, I will try to get in and do a little bit more training with different people. I did some training with the WWN. My friend John Strange, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's helped me out some. One of the key things I do that I feel like if you want to improve in the business is I will go back and watch my matches, and every little move I make, every little hiccup, I point it out to myself. I'm like, oh no, that needs to be better. And then I work on every single little detail whenever I'm in the ring. Every time I see myself screw up, it's like, no, can't do that anymore. Get better at it.
That would explain why you're so smooth in the ring, or why things continually improve, so fluid in the ring.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hope this is a comment, but I was listening to actually about martial arts, and he was talking about how actually a lot of nerds do martial arts. People think it's a bunch of juice heads and blah, blah. He's like, but it takes a nerd to perfect the specific kick that you want to do, a roundhouse kick. And I feel like it almost applies for a pro wrestler too, right? We gotta like all of us that are actually, whether we're fans or deep into this, it's because we nerd out about this stuff. And it's whether it's dates or, stuff you want to remember? Or I imagine just working on a move over and over again. What would you say for you personally has been some of your biggest accomplishments in this business?
Let's see, up until last year, I think it was either July or August. I can't remember exactly. For WWN, I actually became their first ever WWN multimedia champion, and I held that belt up until December, where I lost to Jonathan Hudson. He still got it, but he hasn't even. I think he's defended it once. He's been sick for weeks now. He hasn't been able to make it to the shows. That's probably up there. Making my debut at GCW was also a big accomplishment, at least for me personally. It's one of those places I've always wanted to work at. I know I've been wrestling for a while, but it's only been consistent for the past like 2 or 3 years now. So
I think there's something to that, though. I mean, I think sometimes you probably just, like, from talking to you like a little before, so you're constantly grinding and you're trying to get what you can to shows, right? So I think you're probably not at that smelling the roses stage yet, right? What would you say some of the best advice you received in pro wrestling so far?
One key thing that I took out of this was actually Alex Zane told me we were training one day is you've heard slow down before. Everyone says slow down, and he said he broke it down a little bit more. It's like when you think you've taken too long, take 5 more seconds. You have to let the fans soak it all up. So it's the way he explained things that actually clicked. It's like I'm sitting there like, oh, we wasted too much time. We wasted too much time. No, take a little bit of breather. Let everything settle down. Then go back into everything. Let people understand what's going on. We as wrestlers know what's going on. The fans, no clue.
That makes sense. The stuff I've heard too. Like, don't let the crowd dictate to you. You dictate to the crowd. You'll take them on the journey. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And we've had it even on the podcast where, like, when we'll put up graphics, like, I'll always hit up Dave and I'll be like, can we keep that graphic up for like 3 or 4 more seconds? Because when you have it up there, it feels like it's taking forever. But as a viewer, it's just a quick blip. And then it's something that when you're in the thick of it, you don't realize. But then when you go back as watching it from a different point of view, you take it in differently.
I like the comparison, but full disclosure, I'm just ADHD and I just like to go on to the next stuff. I don't even think about it in terms of that, but I like the comparison. I'll try to keep that in mind. We've had the privilege of calling you at New Heights Wrestling. New Heights Wrestling right away. You got involved with Princess Josh and Cerise. What has that been like for you? Princess Josh is so established in New Heights.
It's been nice. Nice. The princess is taking me under their wing, helping show the ropes, show who to trust and who not to trust. We've had haven't had the best luck lately with the last show, the princess losing their hair, but it's fine. The hair grows back. It'll be all right in the long run. But yeah, it's been nice to have someone who actually has my back there.
Absolutely.
We've been noticing a different facet to your game. You're good with the high flying, the acrobatics. You've been getting a little meaner, a little more vicious in there. It's something we've noticed, that filling out how you wrestle there.
Yeah. Well, the princess is demanding, hey, bring a target down. I'm learning you can't always just play with your food. You have to be mean. You have to take a kill shot on it. So I'm trying to become more vicious. I'm trying to win their approval every step of the way, and it seems to be working so far, except for my last match with Sam Pendragon, but that doesn't matter.
Can we expect you and Samuel Pendragon back in the ring?
If he's brave enough to step in the ring with me again, yeah, sure. But I don't think he's got the balls, okay? I'm the one paladin. He betrayed the princess. If he steps back in the ring, I don't think he's going to be walking out of there, okay?
I agree with that. I've seen you in action. I'm not going to doubt the man. I'll just ask you this then. What can we expect for Cerise Ex Mortis in 2024?
Honestly, I think we got some eyes on the gold. I don't know which belt, maybe all of them. We'll just take whatever we can, whenever we can. The princess loves her gold, so we're going to deck them out. I apologize. Please don't let them hear me. But we're going to deck the princess out in gold and just run New Heights at that point.
I don't know if we could end it any better than that. I say let's let Drake plug what he wants to plug, and then let's get out of here before the princess gets us all in trouble, because I don't know if we might be in trouble.
Social media, Drake, anything you want.
I got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can follow me all there under Drake Zavior. I try to post everything I can on social media.
Drake, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing what you and Cerise X Mortis have going in 2020.